The officials tonight: Ed Middleton, Mike Lauerman, and rookie NBA official Donnie Vaden, who is a veteran of the ACC and the Metro Conference. Patrick Ewing and Rick Smits, who goes 7'4", 250 pounds, but Ewing wins the tip. And the Knicks now in control as we get underway here at Madison Square Garden. Newman from three. Ewing got it back to Jackson. Rebound, Jackson. And the call being made by Ed Middleton against Indiana.
The Pacers as a team are lacking confidence in a big way. Now the record, of course, has everything to do with that. But George Irvin, whose job it is to get this team some wins. Incidentally, when he took over the team from Jack Ramsey, they were 0-9. So they've won 5 games. They're 5-8 since then. But the confidence level is what's really missing here.
Here's Wilkins. That Indiana foul called on Herb Williams. Jackson with a three-point attempt. The Knicks have not shot well in recent games from three-point range. Only 30% the last 11 after the good start. Knicks missing their first 4 shots from the floor. Williams and Ewing off the board. Wilkins close to a travel. Kept alive by Oakley. Sloppy start by the Knicks. It will be Pacer ball.
Catching the basketball is not a given in pro basketball, as much as people might think that's impossible to believe. I asked George Irvin what are the good things about Smits with his foul problems of late. He said, well, he starts over saying he can catch the ball. And that's a very important point.
And here's Person. That Person recently bothered by the flu, missed a couple of games. It will be Indiana ball. Now that was the strong point on the scouting rundown on Smits last year, that he runs the floor well and catches the ball. A lot of 7-footers cannot do that. Herb Williams with the first basket of the night. 2-0 Indiana. Newman with the burst. And he's tied the game at 2.
That's the way you beat the big people, up and under.
And that is a travel. So the Knicks take over. Johnny Newman going well following the slump, but his last 6 games averaging 21 points, so he has broken out of it. A bullet pass for Wilkins, and he's called for steps. No pressure yet by the Knicks. Fleming moves it across. Vern Fleming playing here in his hometown. Whistle away from the ball. And illegal defense called. So that is the first violation on the Knicks.
That's New York's first violation. The second violation.
Reggie Miller starting in the backcourt for this team all season long. One of 3 Pacers that has been playing well lately. This man, Herb Williams, and Chuck Person are the other 2.
Smits getting in. So Rick Smits with his first bucket the last 3 games. 4-2. Indiana on top. Ewing. Yes. So the game tied at 4. To hear the cheer when Smits scored, you know he has some friends from Marist on hand, and Smits puts it away.
You're going to hear them again. Patrick Ewing tried to steal that ball. No one behind him. Smits showing good hands and keeping control.
Ewing rejected. Williams came over. Jackson off the steal attempt, and it's deflected out. Last touch by Indiana. It will be Nick Ball.
See, Patrick Ewing showed Smits the same move twice in a row. Now Smits adjusted this time and was right there to reject it.
Oakley from deep. He has not shot well recently. Ewing off the rebound. Rejected and a foul. What a good play by Smits. Ewing will go to the line.
Well, from our angle, Smits made a great block. Let's see if we can pick up the contact here. Ewing with the fake. Smits doesn't go for it. And there could have been some, as you would say, hip checks thrown on that play.
John, that's a hockey team. I don't know why we bring it up.
Checked you out last night, Marv. You and Sal.
Ewing looking to tie it.
Ewing happy not to see Robert Parrish in his face. Parrish with a very impressive game Sunday up in Boston. Boy, that was one of the best of his career. He was really tough.
14 out of 16, 34 points, 15 rebounds. Knicks losing to the Celtics to end the 6-game win streak, but they have won 6 of 7, 16 of the last 21. And here we see the Knicks throwing the pressure for the first time, and it led to the steal. Game tied at 6, 3 minutes in. Ewing going right at Smits, and he's pushed. So Rick Smits called on a second. And again, Ewing to the free throw line.
Well, that's the pattern Smits has followed. And young players will find that happen a lot, particularly big people. They just get in foul trouble a lot. They don't know when to be aggressive. That's one of the points that George Irvin made to me before the game about Smits. He said, I'd rather see him commit 3 very hard fouls than reaching in fouls. I'd like him to be very physical as opposed to, as they say, ticky-tacky type fouls. And he hasn't mastered that art yet.
Rick Smits did get an early foul difficulty against the Knicks in the earlier meeting at Indianapolis back in November. Knicks winning in overtime, 121-120. And Gerald Wilkins hit a couple of free throws with 8 seconds left. And then Wayman Tisdale missed on the drive in the final seconds. Pressure by the Knicks. Pacers handled it well, though, and Person ties it at 8.
That's the man they want the ball to go to as much as possible.
The double up on Newman, who got it back out. 10 on the shot clock.
Fleming played Jackson well on that move. Jackson gave him his good stuff. Fleming was right in front of him at the end of it.
3-second violation. Gives the ball back to the Indiana Pacers. Vern Fleming out of Monte Christi High School. Able to beat Mark Jackson.
The Pacers lead 10-8.
Fleming from Long Island City. Wilkins, yes. The game is tied at 10.
So hard to turn your body in the opposite direction that you're going as quickly as Gerald did that.
Reggie Miller, who has been hitting the three-pointer. Jackson beating Miller, and the tip home by Oakley.
Well, Oakley may do that 10 times a game and never get the rebound, but he keeps digging, and he got paid for that run.
And Fleming able to answer with a second field goal, so the game tied at 12, and things picking up. Wilkins off the overplay. Newman open from three-point range. And here come the Pacers. Reggie Miller is stopped and fouled by Gerald Wilkins.
The foul was on Gerald Wilkins. That's his first personal foul.
Substitution, Stuart Gray will come on. And he replaces Rick Smits, who leads with 4 points.
Pacers, number 55, Stuart Gray is coming to the game.
Very quietly, Reggie Miller, now in his second year, has moved into a key role for this team. Third leading scorer, 15 a game. Comes off some very fine efforts lately. Against Jersey, 18. Against Chicago, 22. Charlotte averaged 19 points in 2 back-to-back games last week. And he's the three-point threat on this team.
Indiana's #1 draft pick out of UCLA last season, and last year he broke Larry Bird's rookie record with 61 three-point field goals.
What impressed me about Reggie Miller last year was his passing. Everyone expected after his long-range bombing at UCLA that he'd be throwing those long ones up constantly. He's a fine passer.
Newman again from 3. Rebound kept alive. Ewing swinging in, yes. And it counts. The foul on Gray.
That's a distinct difference in confidence levels in that Ewing is playing with great confidence right from the start. Gerald Wilkins, Oakley rather, kept that ball alive for Patrick Ewing. That's what enabled him to get that shot.
He's 4 for 4. from the foul line. So Ewing off to the fast start. He has 8 points. The Knicks by 1, 14-13. 5 minutes gone by. First quarter. Pressure on Fleming. Person from 3. And Oakley lost it. It will be Indiana ball. Chuck Person likes to fire from long range, but has not had success this year. He is under 25%. Gray up front now with Person. And Williams. Good trap. And a timeout taken by Chuck Person. He's saying 22nd.
Indiana.
So Person in trouble, calling for the 20, and now the Knicks beginning to show pressure, and it has been effective.
Well, the Knicks know that they can cause problems on this team. They average 20 turnovers a game. That's near the top of the league, and there's no sense in the Knicks wasting any time and not exploiting this team. They will kick it over.
Pacers will have 19 on the shot clock. There's Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Always camera shy.
Yeah, I see that. Camera sensitive.
And he will be going up against Hector Camacho. That fight announced officially yesterday. I saw gentleman Jerry Cooney on hand. He is involved in the promotion. He was looking for Charles Oakley. He said he met him on an airplane. Oakley, a big boxing fan.
Yes,
but you feel that Karl Malone could take any of these guys.
Oh, man. I can't imagine Karl Malone falling.
He would go down early, except for a pretty girl. Through the hands of Gray, and it's Nick Ball. Boom Boom Mancini will be a guest on Dave Sims' Sports Night following Knick basketball as a timeout has been taken. Pacers 14-13. Good start for the rookie out of Marist, Rick Smits. 2 for 2 from the field, 4 points. Earlier we asked his coach George Irvin how he feels Smits has progressed.
We're very confident he's going to be an excellent NBA player. It's been hard for him to be thrown into the wolves, so to speak, right away with Stepanovic's injury. But he's been up and down, as most any rookie will be. Of late, he's been getting in foul trouble, and I think it really affects him mentally. So he hasn't been playing as well as he was maybe earlier. There's been games where he's played very well. There's been quarters where he's played very well, and then another quarter where he didn't play very well. But that, it's kind of to be expected. But I think that the biggest problem he has is the foul trouble he gets in. He's not sure just how physical he can be in the league. And as a rookie and a big man, he doesn't tend to get very many breaks from the referees.
And Smits did pick up 2 early fouls and was taken out off that last sequence. Nick stepped out of bounds, so it is Indiana ball. They're down by 1 halfway through this first quarter. Marv Albert, John Andres, Greg Gumbel, Madison Square Garden. Here is Herb Williams, rejected by Patrick Ewing. Ewing with a hesitation dribble, nearly discontinued. Oakley from deep. And the Knicks are having their shooting problems here in the first quarter. Look out, Gray went down, but he's all right. Quick release by Fleming. And Jackson starts back. Fleming right with the dribble of Mark Jackson, who goes around him.
You can't beat the hesitation move once in a while. That's what did it for Jackson. Oakley fooled around with Vern Fleming on the transition up court. Fleming got quite a shove, and now Herb Williams and Oakley are into a little pushing match.
And the foul on Oakley, that is his first. For the Knicks, their second team foul. Indiana with 4. Knicks by 3, 16-13, 5:40 remaining in this opening quarter. Fleming guarded by Wilkins. Person posting on a mismatch against Jackson. And Ewing bothered that shot. Ewing getting the ball in good position here in the first quarter. Shooting over Gray. Rebounded by Williams.
No complaints from the Knicks, though. They moved the ball beautifully.
Good defense by the Knicks. Pacers having difficulty finding a good shot. Miller fighting his way was held by Newman.
Miller at 6'7" puts the ball on the floor quite effectively. So when he starts going to the basket quickly, he's tough.
For Indiana, number 54,
This is Greg Dreiling replacing Stuart Gray, who did not score. So Greg Dreiling, who started against the Knicks when they met in Indianapolis, has come on for the first time. He's 7'1", 250 pounds. Funny play. Miller not able to hit on the layup. And the call against the Pacers. It will be Nick Ball. Foul on Dreiling. Dreiling in his third year out of Kansas. And he's called for a loose ball foul. That puts the Pacers over the limit. Thus, Oakley will go to the line.
Very physical player. In that first game against the Knicks, Dreiling played only 8 minutes, had 3 fouls. Here he's been in for 5 seconds, and he's already got a foul. Now, the mystery here is why Tisdale isn't in the lineup. And one of the things that's a problem, Marv, you had something on that?
Bothered by the floor.
Okay. George kept that a secret to me when I was chatting.
Well, you know, the guys are more comfortable with me. And they tell me about illnesses and little problems. And we may see him later, but he's hit by the floor.
There's also a basketball reason which I was going to get into, and that is he's a post-up player. And with Stepanovic out of the lineup, we'll get back to that one after Johnny Newman finishes his job.
Wilkins with the steal leading to that.
But Tisdale has to play back to basket. That's where he's most comfortable. And with Stepanovic out, who can play outside, he misses him. So the balance isn't right.
Again, the steal by Newman, who was in a physical battle with Dreiling off a mismatch. Pretty pass for Oakley. And the Knicks on a 14-3 run have taken a 22-13 lead. Timeout call.
Johnny Newman challenging Reggie Miller, and then Gerald Wilkins comes over and completes the steal. Newman stays with the ball, goes middle, and jams it over the 6'11" Herb Williams.
4:12 remaining first quarter. Knicks on a 14-3 run, and they've also scored the last 10 points. Off balance by Miller. Fleming off the penetration. 22-15. The Knicks lead by 7. Oakley. Charles Oakley gunning from outside. Oakley has shot poorly the last couple of games, and he's also bothered by the flu. Miller fouled on the play before the rejection.
That was on Charles Oakley.
Foul committed by Oakley, committing his second.
Reggie Miller's proving tough for the men out front. Gerald Wilkins has to get down lower, move those feet quickly. He can do it. He can stay with Miller, but Miller's been beating him early in the game.
And Reggie, a big guard, 6'7", about 190 pounds, and getting back to the point you mentioned earlier, a lot of question marks about Reggie Miller coming out of college because he was the gunner, would go for the shot from all angles while a member of the UCLA Bruins, but as you point out, he can do a lot of other things, including play defense and also pass the ball.
Very nice quality when you're a teammate.
Knicks by 5, 22-17. Kenny Walker has come on for the first time, along with Sidney Green. So a new front line for the Knicks. Ewing remaining on the floor. 8 on the shot clock. Wilkins getting it down low. Walker stopped by Dreiling. And here comes Person. Jackson has Walker and Ewing. Walker from Jackson. Beautiful play by Mark Jackson. Knicks by 7. 24-17. Fleming popping. Person with the save. And it was last touch by Ewing. He just did nip him.
Person working hard, doing the little things now.
Indiana, number 25,
John Long has checked in. Wayman Tisdale has come on. So Tisdale giving it a shot despite the flu. Person sitting down. Wayman Tisdale had a career-high 39 points against the Knicks in that earlier game, the victory in overtime by the Knicks at Market Square.
Riley will do no scoring inside, so it's Tisdale's job now to establish the inside game. He's playing with 3 guards out there.
Long, rejected by Walker. It will be Indiana ball with the lead. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Tucker played by Long. Kick ball. Knicks will get the new 24. So the Knicks up front have Walker, Green, and Wilkins. Strickland and Tucker in the backcourt. Strickland given the room. Able to feed Green. Green again. Strip. And last touch by Indiana. So the Knicks will throw in. Tucker calling out a play. Strickland. Good play by Wilkins, and he'll go to the line. He took the rebound out of the hands of Smits off the initial effort, and then hit by Smits. So Smits now has 3, and Gray return.
Eddie Wilkins very hungry for the basketball, just too quick for Rick Smits.
Eddie Lee Wilkins for the Knicks.
We mentioned at the start, this the position where the Knicks should have the decisive mismatch. Patrick Ewing against the combination of Smits and Dreiling and Gray. And Smits with 3 fouls probably will not be seen until the second half. And Dreiling and Gray do not give you much offensively. Knicks now lead 27-18. Here is Long, who is Long. Rebound Tisdale, 27-20. The Knicks by 7.
27-20.
76ers leading Dallas late first quarter, 21-19. Coming in, the Knicks 2.5 in front of Philadelphia. Tucker. And rebounded by Person.
Knicks not shooting as though they're on their home court.
Long off the dribble. Rejected by Walker. Here's Gray. Neither club shooting well. And Walker rebounds.
Right out of Person's hands.
Strickland finding Wilkins.
Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Down to 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Knicks by 9.
Eddie Lee happy to get the playing time. He got none Sunday in Boston.
Skiles going glass. Rebound. Wilkins lost it to Person. With 11 seconds remaining in the quarter. Knicks by 7. 29-22. Knicks setting up for a final shot. 5 seconds. 3, 1. After a quarter here at the Garden, the Knicks lead the Pacers 29-22. There is Yankee general manager Bob Quinn. Has he just made an agreement with Ray Boom Boom Mancini?
A little fill-in action type
Perhaps.
thing.
Ray was a catcher, I know, in high school. Oh, well, they picked up Jamie Cork today. There's no need. Then again, you never know.
Freewheeling Yankees.
The Knicks 39% from the floor. The Pacers 9 for 27, 33%. And the Knicks have certainly done it down low, led by Patrick Ewing.
That's where they wanted to go, and they wisely did it. Got Smits in early foul trouble, forcing George Irvin to go deep onto his bench.
Second quarter underway. Pacers move it down against the pressure. And a holding foul called as Person began his move on Wilkins. So Eddie Wilkins collects his first. The Knicks 29, Indiana 22. The Knicks staying with the second unit of Green, Wilkins, Walker up front. Nice pass. And Chuck Person has 6 points.
29-24.
Strickland guarded by Skiles. Walker is open. It was deflected, and he is fouled by Person. For Person is first.
Part of Person's attempt to be the complete player, challenging everything. He's running the court well. One of the things George Irvin was saying also, that his team hasn't been running enough. And he's trying to get them to do that. That's affected Scott Skiles, who wants to run every time. He said, unless the big men run every time, it just doesn't happen for us. He was also very disappointed, in his opinion, in the conditioning of the team when he took it over after those 9 games. He felt that they weren't in the running kind of condition that he would like to see them in.
Knicks by 7, 31-24. Get off the pressure. Pacers get it down. Person from long. So they've handled the pressure well. And Rick Pitino wants to talk things over. It's called a 20-second timeout. The Knicks have a 31-26 lead. We're just getting started here in the second quarter.
Pacers going over the pressure well. Tucker in front of the big man. That's why it's nice to have Stuart Gray out there. You could pass that ball right over Trent Tucker, and that was the key, because they were able to get it over into Long's hand and then into Person's hands.
This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated, is prohibited. Knicks with 8 on the shot clock. Kenny Walker. So Walker, with his second field goal, he has 6. The Knicks lead at 33-26.
That's very impressive, because the last time he took the jump shot, Person was right up on him and bothered him.
Here's Tisdale. Off balance by Wayman Tisdale. Tucker, 3-point attempt. And it will be Indiana ball. So the Knicks now 0 for 5 from 3-point range. Only 5 for 19 in Boston on Sunday. Long trying to shake Walker. And then apparently thought he saw something down low.
Well, Eddie Wilkins had lost track of Gray for a moment, but the pass just didn't work, and it was too low for the big man, Gray.
Minute and a half gone by. Second quarter. The Knicks by 7. Wilkins posting. Returns to Green. And he drew the foul. Sidney Green accelerating on the baseline.
A play you don't usually see with Sidney Green, where he would pass inside and cut as quickly as he did. Here's a good look at it again. Green in full acceleration. Interesting thing would have been, had Green made that, would Eddie Lee Wilkins have gotten an assist? Right. Green dribbled a bit, but that would have been a tough call.
The friendly Garden staff would have given him one, John, and would have been his first.
Which would have given him, put him in a tie position with Greg Butler.
Would have also brought cheer from Rick Pitino, who would like to see Eddie Wilkins occasionally give the ball back when he gets it down low. The Knicks lead 34-26. Sidney Green bothered by a sore hip recently, a hip contusion, and has played well here in this first half. Walker on a steal. Tucker backs it up and hits. It's a two-pointer. 2-point field goal. He was on the line.
Tisdale got there too late.
So the Knicks with their biggest lead. They lead by 11. Walker is all over the ball. The quickness, the long arms, doing the job here on the press. Skiles gets it across. And now the Pacers being bothered by the pressure. Tisdale lost it. And it's Walker again. Strickland gives it up. Here's Green. Skiles. Bad pass. Long had to save it. Indiana ball.
Herb Williams made the play. So tough. How many times do players in practice defensive situations face 2-on-1, 3-on-1? You're the one. How many times do you do what Herb Williams did? 1 out of 20, and he did it.
Mark Jackson tried to report in, but the substitution waved off. So he'll come on. Next dead ball. 3 minutes gone by. Second quarter. The Knicks lead by 11. Here's Long for Williams. Herb Williams with a second field goal. He has 4. The Knicks lead at 37-28. And a timeout call by the Knicks. We'll be back in a moment.
It's allowing the inbound pass, but they cover well. Kenny Walker's quickness. And then Trent Tucker, foot on the line, picks up 2 points.
Knicks make some changes. Jackson and Gerald Wilkins return along with Patrick Ewing. Green and Walker remain. They've played well. Here is Ewing with good position. Rebound Green. And he pops it home. Sidney Green giving the Knicks a 39-28 lead. Everett Stevens, rookie from Purdue, has checked in for the first time. He's been guarded by Jackson. Ewing on the steal. Williams back. Here's Ewing. Oh, he blew the reverse stuff.
Scratch that from the highlights.
Try to get tricky, and it can cost you. Crowd would have enjoyed it.
The crowd enjoyed it anyway, Marv.
And now Ewing able to cash in for a 13-point Knick lead.
Didn't have time to talk about the splendid play by Sidney Green moments ago, though. That rebound and conversion, so uncomplicated.
This is Stevens, wide open. Sidney Green is controlling the ball. 6 rebounds for Sidney. Jackson guarded by Stevens, beats him down the lane. Rebound Williams. Fleming and Stevens now in the backcourt. Tisdale. And the poor Indiana shooting continues.
And they're getting no offensive rebounding.
Wilkins with the burst.
Would you love to be able to do that once in your life, Marv?
Just once. The Knicks by 15. Indiana shooting only 36% in this first half. And it gets worse as Ewing sweeps. Walker, stop and foul. Kenny Walker will go to the line. Charles Oakley making his return.
Foul on Wayman Tisdale.
Tisdale on the foul. The applause for Sidney Green.
Timeout.
6 points,
Indiana.
6 rebounds, and George Irvin of the Pacers calling for a timeout.
Knicks big men have taken over this game. Patrick Ewing down low. Series of fakes, doesn't get it done, but Sidney Green reestablished position, didn't dribble. That's the key on that play, and went up strong. Patrick Ewing, after a nice steal, wants to put a little something special on the dunk. You can't believe what he did.
Ewing, though, with 10 points, 7 rebounds thus far in the first half.
For the Pacers, number 31, Reggie Miller.
Sixers leading Dallas at the Spectrum, 51-45 in the second quarter. Islanders in Pittsburgh tied at 1. At the end of 1, going into tonight's play, the Rangers 2 points behind the Pittsburgh Penguins. Rangers coming off the victory over the Washington Caps last night. Kenny Walker to the free throw line. He is now 3 for 3 from the foul line. The Knicks by 16. It is their biggest lead, and they have been toying with the Pacers here in the first half.
80% plus for Kenny Walker from the line. Most impressive.
17-point lead. Stevens gets it down. This is Fleming. Indiana with a 3-guard offense. Miller from 3. And Gerald Wilkins starts back. Oakley continues to attempt the outside shot, not hitting. Loose ball foul on the Knicks. And Johnny Newman reports in, replacing Kenny Walker, who committed the foul. And a good performance by Walker. 8 points, hit 2 of 3 from the floor. Fleming, 45-30. The Knicks by 15. The Knicks are back to their starting lineup. Pressure on Ewing. Wilkins from 3. Yes. So that for the Knicks, their first 3-point field goal after missing their first 5. 18-point bulge. Newman nearly picked it off. Fleming off the recovery. Williams. Rebound Oakley. Lost it. Here's Gray off the fake. Rejected. Well, the Indiana shooting percentage at halftime will provide depression for George Irvin and his staff. It will be Nick Ball. They are now right around the 30% mark.
They've been in the low 40s the last couple of games. And that's a very basic thing. When it's down that low, there's no way you're doing good. Gerald Wilkins hitting that 3-point shot. Broken 0 for 12 streak.
Everett Stevens, who was acquired from the Sixers for a fellow by the name of Ron Anderson. Another rejection for Ewing. It is his 3rd. Here's Jackson. And Mark Jackson will go to the line. Well, Everett Stevens is a young player, a rookie, a 2nd-round draft pick by the Sixers. But right now, that deal looking very fine for Philadelphia. Ron Anderson has been a find
in the starting lineup, and the 76ers are winning a lot more than they're losing lately, and Anderson's playing a key role.
Jackson is on the line for the first time. 79% foul shooter. Chuck Person returns. Stuart Gray sits down, and now Herb Williams will move to center. It is Williams with Person, Miller, Fleming, and Stevens. So it is a 3-guard offense, although Miller goes 6'7".
Mark Jackson coming off a very quiet game against the Boston Celtics the other night after dominating here Saturday night against the Bullets.
And has played well here in the first half. The Knicks by 20, 50-30. Person trapped. Stevens gets it down. 5:15 left first half. Here's Fleming. Rejected for Ewing. Number 4. Knicks have a 4-on-1. Beautiful fake by Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins.
But the fake is no good if your teammates aren't running with you, because the defense knows there are other people around, so he's respecting their presence.
The Knicks have outscored the Pacers in the second quarter 23-8. Foul on Newman. His second not shooting foul. The Knicks with their 3rd team foul. Indiana has lost 4 straight here at the Garden. The last time they beat the Knicks here in New York, December 1986. Again, a turnover by the Pacers. Jackson with a look-away pass for Wilkins, and it gets worse for Indiana. The Knicks are just doing it at will. They lead by 24. Here's Person, and he just did get it over Ewing.
The Knicks lead 54-32.
Jackson for Ewing. Ewing thought he was pushed. Person, 54-34. The Knicks by 20 with 4:20 left. First half. The Knicks have won 6 straight here at the Garden. They are 10-1 at home. Oakley giving it back. Ewing returns. Oakley on the follow. 56-34. 8 points for Oakley.
I haven't seen the Knicks score as easily as they are in this sequence all season. And the Pacers are defensively deflated.
Herb Williams. And tipped home
That was Reggie Miller.
by Reggie Miller. Miller had been 0 for 5.
Now the Knicks have to be tempted not to take every shot opportunity and only take good ones.
Won't count. Foul before the shot attempt. Ewing was pushed.
Fouls on Herb Williams.
Williams
That's his second personal
called on a foul, a second.
Indiana
over the foul limit, so Ewing to the line. He's 4 out of 5 from the foul line.
Patrick Ewing for the Knicks. 2 shots.
Greg Dreiling getting set to return.
This team is so hungry for the return of Steve Stepanovich, who's been out,
Indiana, number 54, Greg
and it's
Dreiling
killing this
coming back
team.
into the game.
As odd as that may sound, you know, no one ever thought that he would be that important. I mean, they know he's a fine player.
Well, we mentioned right at the start of the season during the game at Indianapolis that the Pacers have a woeful record with Stepanovich out of the lineup. He's out with a sprained knee. And he has proven to be a very important man. Remember, last year, Indiana was eliminated from the playoffs on the final day of the season. Eliminated, of course, by the Knicks. Jackson with a pretty play. Oakley unable to hit. And it will be Nick Ball.
The interesting thing when you look at the Pacers closely is that last February, at one point, they were 28-22.
And Middleton calling a technical foul. Looks to be against Dreiling. Dreiling had something to say, upset with that last call. Hit with the tee. So Wilkins will shoot the technical. This is first free throw attempt.
Got the okay from George Irvin, though, when he said what he did. George said, oh, I understand. But 28-22 last February this team was, and since then they've won a quarter of their games. What a collapse.
And at one point under Jack Ramsey, a couple of years back, they were considered coming ball club. But they have really fallen back. Wilkins. Ewing. And rebounded by Person. Just under 3 left, first half. Miller. He's had a very poor shooting half. Stevens able to recapture. Dreiling. Fleming. Basket counts. And the foul.
Now, Rick Pitino's concern, and he will have it throughout the game, is that his team doesn't go flat and develop and indicate bad habits. That's what can happen in a situation like this. 20-point lead, not even at the half. He doesn't want his team go flat and turn the crowd off and develop some real bad habits. So he's going to stay on them, and it's a challenge for the team and the coach to stay up now.
Wilkins on the foul. 3-point play for Vern Fleming. 11 for Fleming. Person, the high man for Indiana, with 12. Ewing and Wilkins, Gerald Wilkins, lead the Knicks with 12 apiece. Jackson posting on Stevens. And the Knicks lead at 61-39. 8 points for Jackson. Here's Stevens. Rebound Fleming. Ewing with block number 5. Jackson for the trailer. Ewing foul. Hit by Dreiling.
A lot of mustard on the play that follows this. The Knicks very aggressive, as you can see, rebounding-wise. Ewing on the rejection. Jackson sizes up the situation over the left shoulder. But Dreiling's too big not to have some contact.
Patrick Ewing for the Knicks.
Kenny Walker back. You saw Johnny Newman depart. Newman leaves with 4. 2 more free throws for Ewing. He is an 80% foul shooter. And Ewing has hit 7 of 8 from the line. Knicks enjoying themselves at the foul line. 2:12 remaining in the half. And the Knicks lead at 63-39. 14 for Ewing. And it's against Indiana. Offensive foul.
Offensive foul charge to Everett Stevens.
Stevens on the foul. Here comes Eddie Wilkins. So Patrick Ewing will get a rest. Sitting down with 14. The Knicks again going to their second unit. Strickland, Tucker in the backcourt. Green up front with Walker and Wilkins. from the ball. The whistle from Mike Lowerman. Offensive foul called on the Knicks. It's on Eddie Wilkins. That's his second personal. Here's Stevens off the fake. Everett Stevens, rookie out of Purdue, able to click on his first field goal. 63-41. The Knicks by 22 with a minute and a half left, first half. Knicks play the Pistons here on Thursday as Tucker is able to drill it home. Next game night will get underway at 7 o'clock.
Oh, are those Pistons going to be nasty? They're going to want to get revenge for that shock the Knicks gave them in Detroit.
Just under a minute to go, first half. Strickland, look out.
You get a feeling when a player hits the floor before he's ready for it. It looked like that's what Strickland did, but he bounces up.
Tisdale committing the foul, his second. And Rod Strickland will go to the line for the first time.
One thing I established as you look at the coach pondering his next move with Rod Strickland, Marv. We talked at halftime up in Boston, and I asked him about his very impassive expression all the time. I said, "Are you nervous?" Because he's always, in every condition, he always has the same look. He said, "Yes, I do get nervous, very nervous once in a while."
Similar to Walt, Clyde Frazier does not show the emotion. Tisdale able to hit 67-43. It looks like Strickland is struggling after he hit the floor. He's playing with a bruised thigh. Riley on the steal. 20 seconds to go. First half. Tisdale.
Wayman Tisdale.
So Wayman Tisdale showing some signs. He has 6. 67-45. The Knicks by 22 as we come up on 10 seconds remaining of the half. 5 seconds. Strickland. Yes. Tough move. Power move. 1 second remaining. Knicks by 24. And that is it. It will not be a pleasant Indiana Pacer locker room at halftime. As the Knicks outscore the Pacers 40-23 in the second quarter. So the Knicks with the big lead, and just ahead, the MSG Sports Desk. For the stats in the first half, Patrick Ewing having a field day with 5 blocked shots. His season high is 7, his career high is 8. And if he gets the playing time, if this is not a complete blowout, or if the blowout doesn't continue in the second half, he will add to that total.
Yes, he undoubtedly will. I don't know what George Irvin, the coach of Indiana, can do to inspire his team. The best thing he can do, I guess, is just threaten them to play harder. They must play harder and execute better. And we know teams can go flat just as well as teams can lift up their level of play. And but he's got a big job in his hands. The Knicks are enjoying this, Marv. And they know Thursday is going to be a tough one coming up, so they're having fun now.
Particularly big job for Indiana because they're shooting only 36%, and they rallied to get to that mark, while the Knicks did not shoot particularly well, but still at 44%, and they have obviously done it at the foul line.
Yes, they have dominated just about every phase of this game. Their three-point shooting, as you see, 1 for 6 is not good, but everything else is super dominating, and everyone's getting a run now. Eddie Lee Wilkins, 7 minutes in the first half, a lot for him in the first half. We may even see the newest Knick in the second half.
And that is Pete Myers, who was picked up earlier in the day. Rick Carlisle was dropped. Things figure to be a bit tougher on Thursday night for the Knicks when they take on the Detroit Pistons earlier in the season at the Palace. The Knicks did knock off the Pistons, and that certainly will be very much in their mind as they take on the Knicks here at the Garden Thursday. Airtime on the Madison Square Garden Network starting at 7:30. Underway in the third quarter. It's Indiana ball. They are down 69-45. Fleming lost it. And let's see what the call is here.
But that was on Vern Fleming.
Vern Fleming.
That's his first personal
Called on the personal, his first.
team
So
foul.
another Indiana turnover to give the ball back to the Knicks. 13 turnovers now for the Pacers. Knicks had only 7 in the first half.
When a team is going poorly, it's the basics. The Pacers are having a very difficult time. How about this? Catching the basketball with each other.
Rick Smits back on the floor playing with 3 fouls. Miller and Fleming in the backcourt. Williams, Person, and Smits up front. And the Knicks now lead at 69-47. 8 points for Miller.
Nice move by Reggie Miller.
Miller missed his first 5 shots. He's 2 for 8 from the field. Knicks opening with their starting lineup. Here's Ewing.
Lefty.
Knicks get it back. Wilkins. Smith's got a piece of it. Jackson changing hands on the move. And the foul on the Knicks. Knicks did get off slowly in the first quarter. Ewing
That's his first
picking
personal
up
foul.
his first, and it will be Indiana ball. Nice pass from Smits to find Person. So the Pacers now down by 20, 69-49. The Knicks have led by as many as 26.
Good touch and judgment demonstrated by Smits.
Newman with the step. Rebound Smits. Fleming giving it up. So Indiana has cut it down to 18, 69-51.
They're in a good sequence right now, and they are hustling. And Smits is impressive. He's aggressive around the basket.
Pacers opening with 6 unanswered points. Ewing. Yes. 71-51. The Knicks lead by 20.
Everything is split second in basketball. Smits got there, but a split second late.
Oakley off the steal. Jackson giving it back. Newman draws the foul.
Jackson prefers the pass, and what a pleasure playing with someone like that. He could have shot it himself. Watch how quickly Oakley gets to this situation. He's out of nowhere, quickly picks it up between the legs. How casual that happened. And Jackson loves to give it off, and there's Newman running as usual.
Newman's first appearance at the foul line. He has 5 points. 2.5 gone by in the third quarter. The Knicks come in at 16-7, 2.5 games in front of the 76ers. They come off the loss in Boston on Sunday. They have now won 6 of the last 7, 16 of the last 21, and 6 straight here at the Garden. Herb Williams played well. Rick Smits. Rebound Person. Nice touch by Chuck Person.
73-53.
16 for Person. Wilkins with the step. Gives it back. Here's Oakley. And again the Knicks to the foul line.
Knicks are getting it done on their offensive end, but they're giving up a lot now at the defensive end as the Pacers come on.
Indiana's third team
And
foul.
that was number 4, picked up by Smits. They come on strong here in the third quarter with 4 rebounds, a block, and an assist. And it looks like George Irvin will leave him on the floor.
2 shots.
Oakley will shoot a pair. He's 2 for 2 from the foul line.
I can see why George Irvin would not want to interrupt the flow of the game for Smits now. He's loose. He's playing well. And if you're going to lose him, let it be another 8 minutes from now. But at least he'll be warm, and he may do some good things because he's on the verge of that now to continue it.
The Knicks 74, the Indiana Pacers 53. Indiana with a record of 5-17. Last in the Central Division. They've dropped 3 in a row. Beaten by the Nets at home on Saturday night. 0-10 on the road. Oakley with the outlet for Wilkins. Ewing ahead of the field, but Wilkins did not want to risk it. Wilkins from Jackson. Wilkins on the recovery.
Gerald Wilkins.
I don't know how he got away with it, but he did. The only team, by the way, not to win on the road in the NBA.
Right, Miami's victory was on the road. They're 1-9 on the road. Miller stopped. Wilkins on it. So the Knicks by 23. They have a 4-on-3. Jackson makes it a 25-point lead.
78-53.
Here's Fleming. 78-55. The Knicks on top. 13 points for Vern Fleming. Wilkins, and he was hacked. Gerald Wilkins will go to the foul line. Irv Williams collects his 4th. So 4 apiece on Williams and Smits. And very quickly, the Pacers have their 4th team foul. Now substitution, Wayman Tisdale will check in. Herb Williams sits down. A very quiet game for Williams. 4 points, 2 for 7 from the field. Gerald Wilkins with 2.
Gerald with 9 rebounds. What a big number for him in a 48-minute game. And here we are, early 3rd quarter.
And that is a season high in the rebounding department for Gerald Wilkins. The Knicks do want to see him more active off the boards. Of course, Mark Jackson has done a terrific job in that department. The Knicks 80 and Indiana 55. So the Pacers came out with a burst. The Knicks able to settle down, and they have a huge lead once again. And another Indiana turnover.
Well, Smits out high, delivering the pass through one good one before. Not that time.
Jackson, yes, and it counts. What a move by Mark Jackson.
The foul is on Vern Fleming. That's his 2nd.
Foul committed by Fleming. Knicks have their biggest lead. They lead by 27, and a timeout called by the Pacers. Similar to Saturday night, the Knicks are toying with one of the weaker teams in the NBA.
Yes, they haven't had that many of those, as Tisdale makes a nice shot over the outstretched arms of Ewing. So they're going to enjoy this and attempt to keep the heat on now.
Another illustration of how far the Knicks have come with a record of 16-7. It's their best start since they were 19-4 in their last championship season back in 72-73. And last year, win number 16 did not take place until February 4th. That was their 44th game. Miller rejected, and Smits on the follow. So Ewing now with 6 blocks.
Smits showing his soft touch around the basket.
87-61, just under 6 remaining 3rd quarter. Ewing, rebound Tisdale. Smits, and taken by Oakley. Ewing able to chase the outlet. Wilkins from Ewing.
The Knicks lead 89-61.
And the Knicks now lead 89-61.
George Irvin standing there watching his team. What can he say to them?
That is a goaltend. Well, as you mentioned, he can threaten them.
I think that's been tried, and that's been used up. What next?
Very difficult situation. That's the goaltend by Ewing. Scott Skiles getting set to check in.
He can hand over the reins to one of his assistants. Dave Twardzik. Well, Daniels.
Ewing, yes, and it counts. for Ewing. And he'll go to the foul line.
Ewing trying the fakes. Smith's not buying them, which is good by him. Ewing makes a very fine shot. George was telling me before the game that when the replacement was made, as Smith leaves with 5, the coaching staff was changed when Jack Ramsey was moved out. Mel Daniels, who had the job for a while, it was intended that George Irvin stay where he was, involved with player personnel. He said Mel was so dangerous and uptight about it, he just didn't want to handle it anymore. It's funny to look at a big, strong guy. He's one of those guys like Artis Gilmore, when you shake his hands, it hurts. There aren't many of them around, but Daniels is. But he was, he was just so uptight about it, he didn't want to stay with it.
Right at first, the combination of Daniels and Twardzik handle the team. Tisdale, the nice touch. Knicks now lead 92-65. 4:50 to go in this third quarter. George Irvin was the vice president of basketball operations for the Pacers. Ewing to the foul line once again. Dreiling on the foul, which means that Irvin was handling the administrative side of the team, from budgets to scouting. He was head coach for 2 years, several years back, prior to the hiring of Jack Ramsey. And now back on an interim basis. Patrick Ewing with 20 points. There is George, a third-round draft pick of the Virginia Squires of the ABA. Back in 1970, played 5 years with Virginia, played with Denver also in the ABA, and is coached with the Squires, Al Bianchi, who was rather explosive on the bench.
Al's a bit of a competitor.
Wilkins not able to hit the three-pointer. Ewing sent flying. And the chant and the response greeting Greg Butler's appearance at the scorer's table. Ewing, who is just controlling both backboards. 10 rebounds, 7 block shots. Newman for Wilkins around Person. And slapped home by Oakley.
When you go to the boards aggressively, sometimes you get the bounces.
Another Indiana turnover. Skiles called on the foul. And Butler, the rookie from Stanford, who has become a crowd favorite, has come on for the first time. Ewing sits down with 21, along with the 7 rejections and 10 rebounds.
Some of that applause, obviously, for the departing Patrick Ewing. Probably more of it, though, for Butler. Who, as you say, has emerged as a major crowd favorite.
See the story the other day, Sidney Green and some of the Knicks showing their perverse sense of humor with the Knicks trailing the Denver Nuggets in the third quarter, actually early third quarter. Green told Butler on the bench that the coach wants you to check in. And Butler whips off the warm-ups and heads to the scorer's table. And he was very diplomatically told by one of the assistant coaches, they were just kidding, Greg.
Yes.
Here's Dreiling. 97-69. The Knicks with the huge lead. 3.5 left in the third. Newman spinning in. Rebound Dreiling. And batted out by Newman.
If you're Butler, of course, you interpret that, as you've been told throughout your life, that if people do that, Johnny Newman, one of his many steals on the inbounds play, draws the foul. People only do that if they like you. That's the only consolation.
Well, I want you to keep that in mind as the constant pranks are being pulled on you, John.
I'm very sensitive to that, Marv.
Dreiling called on the foul. And Anthony Frederick, a rookie from Pepperdine, has come on for the first time. Played the last 2 years in the CBA. 6th-round pick of the Nuggets back in '86. It's the Knicks 98, Indiana 69. 3.5 left in the third. Skiles fires. Scott Skiles able to connect on his first field goal.
Skiles also, like the team, an up and down performer consistency-wise. He loves to run, but the team hasn't been running along with him.
And he has been getting the playing time. Jackson beating Skiles. Gives it to Butler. Not able to handle. Oakley on a recovery. Rebound Jackson.
Look at him up with the big people and up higher.
Frederick deflected it out. Timeout call. Just under 3 remaining in what has developed into a Knick wipeout. And Scott Skiles have had some testy confrontations this back last March here at the Garden with Jackson and Skiles very aggressive with each other, and Skiles ended up along Celebrity Row. And tonight Jackson was fouled by Skiles just a moment ago.
Clean foul, though. It was physical, but it was clean, not like last year.
Good play by Frederick. That is the first turnover this third quarter by the Knicks. Indiana with 6. Dreiling was fouled. The Knicks 98, Pacers 71. 2:40 to go in the third. Butler called on the foul. And Dreiling will go to the free throw line. 71% foul shooter. Has been on the line only 17 times. He's hit 12.
Knicks in the Christmas spirit will attempt to bring some holiday cheer to several New York hospitals tomorrow, visiting children's wards. Kenny Walker, Sidney Green, Johnny Newman will be at Our Lady of Mercy Hospital in the Bronx for the 5th straight year. Knicks will be there. Bronx Lebanon Hospital, Charles Oakley, Mark Jackson. Some of the other players will also be at other locations. Gerald Wilkins, Greg Butler, Rod Strickland, Trent Tucker. Very nice way to spend some of their off time, and there isn't much of it.
Particularly next week when the Knicks will have 3 road games in Atlanta Tuesday, in Chicago facing Michael Jordan, Bill Cartwright and the Bulls on Thursday. Then Friday a visit to Charlotte. Skiles getting in. Nice play, and he's fouled. So Skiles will go to the line. The Knicks now by 24, 98-74. Butler called on the foul.
Well, the thin Scott Skiles spent a lot of time in the offseason changing his diet, working on his body. And a move like that wasn't in his repertoire last year, and I think the waistline helped him on that play.
Correction on the foul. It was Walker, not Butler. 98-75. 3-point play for Skiles. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Knicks back to the second unit. Strickland and Tucker in the backcourt. Green up front with Walker and Butler. Strickland with the feed for Green. Sidney going to the hook and rebounded by Dreiling. Frederick. Anthony Frederick, who averaged 21 a game in the CBA last year. Rookie from Pepperdine. And that was his first field goal. So a mini run by the Pacers by the count of 9-2. And that's a traveling violation. Frederick catching his own pass.
Claims, of course, that he was fouled.
Minute and a half left. Third quarter. Strickland on the crossover. Oh, what a second move by Strickland, even more impressive than that first one. Here's Tisdale. Rebound, Butler. Thought he was fouled. Green able to come up with it. And Skiles on the steal. Tisdale for the showtime from Wayman Tisdale. The Knicks 100. Indiana 79 with 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. Walker from deep. Rebound Dreiling. The bounce pass broken up by Strickland. Green getting in. Yes, and it counts. Nice move by Green.
Fouls on Wayman Tisdale.
Tisdale
That's his third personal
hit
foul.
with his third.
Strickland setting up now. He'll fade left here to open up the middle. Let the big people come into the action. And Sidney Green with the nice head fake.
Sidney Green for the Knicks.
And the follow-up move. Sidney has been very effective tonight all over the court.
25 seconds left. Third quarter. In the third, the 76ers leading Dallas 76-75. In the third, Detroit 77 and Miami 60.
Roy Tarpley back finally for Dallas.
Tisdale 102-81 now. The Knicks with the lead. 5 seconds to go. Third quarter. And Strickland lost it. 2 seconds remaining in the quarter.
That was the first imperfection I've seen from Strickland this season of that nature, where he just gave it up.
Walker on the steal. He fires. After three, it's the Knicks 102 and the Indiana Pacers 81. Rick Pitino having a very low-key night, perhaps searching for something to be concerned about. And there is Jerry Cooney.
For the Pacers, number 10, Vern Fleming, and number
Gentlemen.
21.
Gentlemen,
Everett
Jerry.
Stevens are back
Looks
in
good,
the
doesn't
game.
he?
And for the Knicks, number 21, Gerald
Really looks like
Wilkins
a
back in the
young
game.
Dolph Shays.
Yes, you're right. Very good.
Thank you, John.
Good five on that.
Game number 45,
I like that.
Eddie Wilkins.
So the fourth quarter is underway. Jerry cannot go to the hoop now. Golf
He
game.
can go, but it'll take him a while.
And the hacking
That
foul.
was on Everett Stevens.
Funny how we go our different ways, you know. Dolph dribbled the ball when he was a kid.
Indiana's
Jerry
first
put it
team
on the
foul.
gloves and started hitting people. What makes us that way?
I once shot hoops with Cooney on the boardwalk of all places in Atlantic City. Jerry does not have the outside touch. Did not. I would think did not spend much time in the schoolyard playing basketball. And a loose ball foul on Eddie Wilkins.
Loose ball foul charge to Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Third on
That's his
Wilkins.
third personal foul. New York
The Knicks
first
with
team foul.
Wilkins up front along with Walker and Green. And Green had turned his head, so Tisdale got the step.
Wayman Tisdale.
Jackson
The
in
Knicks
the
lead
backcourt with
102-83.
Gerald Wilkins.
Well, for the Pacers, a victory for them would be making this a 10-point game. And for the Knicks, of course, that would be very deflating after the fine effort and dominance they've established.
Replacing Sidney
I think
Green.
those are the goals of the Pacers anyway, to get this down to 10. Now it's 19.
Green sitting down. Wilkins was tied up. And it's controlled by Eddie Wilkins. Jackson coming off the pick. Yes. Mark Jackson with 14. And the Knicks lead 104-83. Frederick met by Walker. Fleming got the step. And Oakley off the boards. It's a 3-on-2. Now the Pacers get back. Jackson fouled. And he will go to the line.
Fouls on Wayman Tisdale. That's
Tisdale.
his fourth personal foul.
Committing his
4 on
fourth.
Tisdale and Indiana's second team foul. Mark Jackson for the Knicks.
Atlanta leading Seattle 89-72. Cleveland by 20 over Utah. And Detroit with the big lead on Miami. Chicago by 10 at the half over the Lakers.
For Indiana, number 31.
Cleveland is punishing
Reggie Miller,
people
and number 45,
at home. They're punishing people in general, but at home they are really doing it as they did to the Atlanta Hawks the other night.
And the Islanders leading the first place Penguins 3-2 in the third.
Cavaliers are 8-2 at home. Almost as good as the Knicks.
Knicks at 10 up, 1 down here at the Garden. Chuck Person now with 20 points.
Charles Oakley is going to be maybe the only player in the NBA who has to go through a warm-up before the game, like a pitcher, like baseball players. Get out there and throw a while.
Three-pointer for Mark Jackson. And that appeared to be an assist. I say appeared to be an assist for Eddie Lee Wilkins. It is now official, John. And that is assist number 1 for Eddie Lee Wilkins. There he is. Nice going.
Are you sure of that now?
After we checked it out.
Little nod over there. Cross-court nod.
We are in constant communication, John. That has become such a significant fact to show how this game has gone. And the Knicks publicity staff just came over to tell us.
Oh, would have given Oakley one, that's for sure.
Wilkins on the follow. And Gerald Wilkins will go to the line.
Oakley with the nice recovery of the loose ball. Fired it out to Mark Jackson. Almost hit 3 himself.
Dennis D'Agostino sprinted over to make it official. Dennis from the Knicks PR staff. And here is another look at the first assist this season for Eddie Wilkins.
Eddie Lee getting it down low, pitching out. Jackson. Very nice. Nicely done.
Well, it took 160 minutes of playing time. This is 19th game. Crowd of 13,637 on hand. For the Knicks and the Pacers, it has not been a thriller because the Knicks jumped to the big lead in the first half. They led at halftime 69-45, and you get the feeling you're watching a scrimmage at this point. 9.5 remaining. The Knicks 110. Indiana 85. Scott Skiles eluding Gerald Wilkins. Rebound Kenny Walker. Jackson played by Stevens. Wilkins over Williams. So Wilkins with his second field goal. He has 5. 112-85 the score. Stevens stepped out.
Patrick Ewing, after his domination, getting a nice long rest.
And Jackson fouled. Knicks spending lots of time at the foul line. Everett Stevens, the rookie from Purdue, called on the foul. The Knicks turning it from the loss in Boston on Sunday night. Celtics with a very impressive effort.
Mark Jackson for the Knicks.
Doing it, of course, without Larry Bird. Boston coach Jimmy Rogers was asked about the fact that it's going to be tough without Bird. He was asked about what it's like coaching without Larry Bird, and Rogers says, "I've slept like a baby. I wake up every hour crying." The B material I'm throwing at you.
Maybe last game too, right?
No. Knicks now lead at 113-85. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Good fake. Frederick fouled or tied up. Let's see. He's fouled.
The foul was on Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Wilkins called. Eddie Wilkins on the foul. And Anthony Frederick
Second team foul.
will go to the line.
Funny how life works out, because I saw that line in the Boston papers the other day, and I said, that's a great line. I'd really like to do that Sunday night, and I never did.
I have more
to come along.
I have more material for you, John.
Looking at the Detroit Pistons, the Knicks' next opponent before a packed house here Thursday night upcoming. Thinking if they'd be ready for the Knicks on Thursday night. Well, the last game was Saturday against Charlotte at home. And they're off till this Thursday, and then they don't play till the following Wednesday. And I would say the Pistons should be ready.
Going at 17-6. Nice play. Mark Jackson off a beautiful combination. Knicks now lead 115-86. Skiles down low for Frederick.
That was Anthony
Detroit
Frederick.
with a victory tonight over Miami will be 18-6. Walker.
Kenny Walker. The Knicks lead 117-88.
117-88. Skiles bottled up, got it out. Three-point attempt by Stevens. Frederick keeping it alive. Herb Williams, basket counts.
That was Herb Williams.
And the That's on Eddie Wilkins. That's 5.
The foul was on Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Personal foul, 5 on Wilkins. And New York's third team foul.
Knicks sharing the basketball nicely. Gerald Wilkins picking out Kenny Walker, who almost has his head at rim level.
Mark Jackson.
And Mark Jackson will sit down. Rod Strickland is back. Solid performance by Mark. 22 points, 7 of 11, including 1 3-pointer. 7 for 9 from the foul line. So 22 for Jackson, 21 for Ewing, 19 for Gerald Wilkins. Strickland hitting Oakley. Traveling violation. Marv Albert, John Andres, Greg Gumbel, Walt Clyde Frazier, Madison Square Garden. Stevens off a spin. Rebound, Eddie Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins.
Gerald Wilkins.
Make it 21 for Gerald Wilkins.
Oh, that happened right in front of and around Herb Williams.
Frederick.
That was
Anthony Frederick with his third field goal. He's 3 for 3 from the floor, has 7 points. Eddie Wilkins.
Eddie Lee Wilkins. The Knicks lead 121-92.
Eddie Lee justifying the time Rick Pitino has given him tonight with some fine play.
Skiles. And the loose ball foul.
New York.
As the Knicks call for the timeout. Person called on the foul. Later score. Now Dallas leading Philadelphia 98-94. Atlanta over Seattle in the fourth quarter. The Knicks 2.5 in front of the Sixers coming into tonight's play. The Knicks now lead it by 30. Their biggest wins this season in terms of margin of victory, a 21-point victory over the Sixers, and they beat Detroit at the Palace by 22. Last year they won by 32 over the Nets last season back in December. So they have the enormous lead here. Rick Smits, who just checked back in, not able to hit. And last touch by Tucker.
Lakers having problems with the Bulls, we see. Man, will they be happy to get home to Los Angeles. What a dismal road trip for them.
And they're 9-7 on the road going into tonight. 7-0 at home. Good pass off the inbounds. Chuck Person able to hit. He has 22, 123-94. Knicks with the lead. What a discrepancy at the free throw line tonight. Indiana has gone to the line 14 times, 8 for 14. The Knicks 47 foul shots. And Eddie Wilkins gets the roll. The Knicks 39 for 47 from the line.
Quite a difference also from the game in Boston when they only went to the line 18 times.
Here is Strickland, and he is fouled. Foul committed by Stevens, and Strickland.
That was on Everett Stevens.
To the free throw line.
That's his 5th personal foul, 5 on Stevens.
Strickland seems to have shaken off that
Rod
thigh
Strickland
injury
2 shots.
very well, moving quickly.
To the Pistons here on Thursday, and that will wrap up a stretch of 8 of 9 at home. Then the 3-game road trip starting Tuesday in Atlanta, followed by Chicago and Charlotte. Smits, and he is fouled.
Lovely pass from Stevens.
10 points for Smits.
Foul on Eddie Lee Wilkins.
Wilkins
That is 6th personal
on the foul, so Eddie Wilkins is fouled out. And leads with 9 points, which means Red Butler re-enters.
Eddie Lee Wilkins leads the game with 9 points.
9 points for Wilkins and his first assist of the season as he dished it off to Mark Jackson, and Jackson able to hit a 3-point bomb. The Knicks now have Butler up front with Walker and Green. Strickland and Tucker in the backcourt. It has been a rout throughout. Knicks led by 24 at the half. They've added to it here in the second half. Strickland will go to the foul line.
When Strickland spins, and a lot of the Knicks do that well, Gerald Wilkins and Johnny Newman in particular, as Rick Smits leaves the game now with 6 fouls. But I notice with Strickland, when he spins, he is in close to the basket, it seems, closer than Newman and Gerald Wilkins get on the spin. I mean, he is really in there, and of course he's a lot shorter than either of those guys. Very tough move.
2 shots.
Smits leads with 10 points, 7 rebounds. Down to 5.5 left in the game. And the Knicks now lead by 32, 128-96. Now, those of you who are still tuned in at this point, either love basketball,
That was Wayman Tisdale.
have nothing to do,
Knicks lead 128
are very curious. 128-98 the score. Or perhaps a Greg Butler fan out there.
Could be.
Sidney Green hits and a foul.
Well, Sidney Green coming off a big week last week with his season high rebounding and scoring, picking it up right up this week once again here at the Garden.
Double figures in rebounding for Green. He's hit 10 along with 10 points. The Knicks 131. Indiana Pacers 98. 5 minutes left in the game. Miller going to his right. A stumble dribble move, and he's fouled. It's a new one.
For you to come out with a new one is the challenge each night.
Reggie Miller for the Pacers.
News to the secrets
Only
of
to
the
us.
obscure. Yes. Stumble dribble.
You look back at recent huge wins in terms of margin of victory by the Knicks. I mentioned the net victory by 32 last season. You go back to 86. They won by 36 over the Bullets. Back to 84, they beat the Indiana Pacers by 37, 140 to 103. And right here, they lead it 131-99. Green fouled. It has been a parade to the foul line. And you recall, John, last year the Knicks went to the line 64 times in a team record. Check that. The team record is 64 against Baltimore back in March of '49 in an overtime game. But last season, the Knicks and the Bullets combined to set an NBA record for most times going to the foul line. That won't happen here tonight. But the Knicks right now on the line for their 53rd and 54th free throws. Fascinating fact. They keep coming.
I'm speechless. Yes.
Riley is fouled. Down to 4.5 remaining in the game. And the Knicks lead it 132 to 99. Foul called on Walker.
Well, the good news for George Irvin, the Indiana coach, is that this game is almost over. The bad news is he's got 3 more road games to follow this one. What is he going to do for kicks?
Pacers, the only team in the NBA without a win on the road. Friday night, Pacers play the Hawks in Atlanta. And away from the ball, the call made by Ed Middleton. It's against the Knicks, pushing foul.
Offensive foul charge to Sidney Green.
That's Green.
First personal foul.
The Knicks lead by 31. Stevens rebounded by Tisdale and lost by the Pacers. Frederick kicked it out.
unbelievable how different a game can be in a different environment. When I think back to the first meeting between these two teams, how fierce it was. Tisdale had his career high against the Knicks in that one. What a difference.
Portion of the crowd here would like to see Butler getting the ball. They're chanting for him. Three-point attempt by Tucker. Well, you heard the call from Ed Middleton. Ball deflected out of bounds by Strickland. And that earlier game in Indianapolis, reminiscent of the final game of the regular season last year that led to the Knicks making the playoffs. Another foul, and
Foul on Greg Butler.
Stevens will go to the line as Butler picks it up. His first. Last season, you recall the Knicks winning it in the final seconds, and Stepanovic had that drive down the lane. Kenny Walker got a piece of it. Well, the Knicks won in overtime back on the 11th of November by 1. Gerald Wilkins hitting a couple of foul shots with 8 seconds left, and then Tisdale had the drive opportunity at the buzzer, but could not hit. Stevens. Riley lost it. Strickland with the steal. Miller back. Strickland behind the back. What a play.
That's the one.
134-102.
That's the beauty of the evening.
From the playbook of Bob Cousy, you rarely see that.
And up and under, too. There was a lot on that move from beginning to end. I can't wait to see it again.
5 on the shot clock. Riley hits 134 to 104.
134-104.
Rod Strickland will be very difficult in the game of course, don't you think?
I can't imagine one-on-one, too. I mean, he's going to get a shot off and every time.
11 for Strickland, who does deliver to Butler. Crowd going wild. Butler hits. So Greg Butler with his first field goal. The Knicks 136. The Pacers 104 with 2.5 remaining in the game. Butler on a steal.
Brendan Serra, the assistant general manager for the Atlanta Hawks, scouting the Knicks tonight.
Walker not able to hit.
Yeah, Brendan just signaled over to write that down, the Butler move.
Furiously taking notes on that one. Butler called on the foul.
Indiana.
And the Pacers with a timeout. 2:15 left in the game. And the Knicks leading Indiana 136-104.
Many people don't leave NBA routes early, and this is the reason. What a move by Rod Strickland behind the back and then crosses over and comes up the other side. And the fans love this one too from Greg Butler.
So the Knicks lead 136-104. Anthony Frederick, the rookie from Pepperdine, at the foul line. Frederick with 8 points.
I like him. He's done good things out here.
It's tough to tell.
He's athletic.
Yeah.
Nice things.
Well,
I like him.
He'll be playing, John. You know, this time of the game, what can you tell?
He's been playing a while, Mark. The guy a break. You watch.
It is deflected out.
You watch his career. You watch every box score.
I'll check it out. He's a CBA player, John. Detroit 116, Miami 100. Final score.
Do you want a list of the CBA players in the NBA?
Guys that make it, but there's limitations. Not to put down the CBA, but it's talking about a different level. Oh. Walker skying.
Wow.
Now to a minute and a half remaining in the game. Here's Butler angling in. So Greg Butler is 1 for 2 from the field. Stevens.
That was
I like him too.
The Knicks lead 136-108.
What do you think about that?
Well, so did Indiana. They gave up Ron Anderson to the 76ers, which would qualify you to be Perhaps a GM.
Okay.
With offices at Market Square.
Maybe Donnie Walsh on the phone.
Dreiling taking a little walk. Nothing called. Tucker from 3. Rebound, Butler. Yes, and it counts. And Frederick called on the foul, so Butler will go to the line.
Very nice play. Nice pitch out by Kenny Walker to Trent Tucker. Butler with the recovery. And he too goes up and under.
That's a season high for Butler. He has 5. 139-108. 40 seconds remaining in the game. And the reverse. Anthony Frederick hits again. 11 for Frederick.
See?
That's his 5th personal foul. 5 on Walker.
John, you're such an immature.
Anthony Frederick for the
That's the
Pacers.
final score, so the Knicks will go 3.5 in front of the 76ers. Dallas beating Philadelphia 108-102. Dreiling. Tisdale. And the foul called with 27 seconds left in the game.
Foul on Greg Butler.
Butler called on the foul.
Personal foul. New York Knicks
Fourth.
over the limit.
And Dreiling to the line. The New York Knicks Foot Locker High School Assist Program is donating a pair of Nike athletic shoes to a New York City high school for every assist recorded tonight by program chairman Mark Jackson. Mark is playing for Jane Addams High School in the Bronx. Also, the Knicks and Foot Locker award New York Knicks tickets to select New York City high school students with good attendance records. Mark Jackson with 8 assists for the ball game. 139-111. 27 seconds left. Jackson with 22 points to lead the Knicks scoring. Ewing and Gerald Wilkins with 21. 22 for Person, 20 for Tisdale. Butler showing us more of his repertoire. Well, here the Knicks who just blow out the Pacers, but those who remain will come away talking about Greg Butler. Frederick, 141, 113, 5 seconds remaining in the game, and that will do it. Trent Tucker showing compassion, dribbles it out. And the Knicks in a rout of the Pacers to make it 7 wins the last 8 games, a record of 17-7. And with the Philadelphia loss to Dallas, the Knicks are now 3.5 games in front. Knicks 141, the Pacers 113.